Have you ever wondered why Sid from Toy Story is so mean-spirited? Well, stick around because I'm about to dissect some details to answer that question. But first, I'd love to know who your favorite Toy Story character is.
You have McGann, the Fangirl. Make sure you subscribe and check back every week for new fandom videos. Before I changed to studying film in college, I was a double major in history and psychology. That by no means makes me a psychiatric expert, but it has given me an interesting perspective in studying films and better understanding characters. Case in point, Sid, who just seems absolutely awful every second he's on screen. Really, I don't think Pixar has made any villains on par with Sid. He was just chaotic evil to most viewers. But everyone has a backstory, so I want to figure out why Sid is so vicious. In the first Toy Story movie, Andy and Sid are neighbors, and as I said in another Toy Story theory, they live in a neighborhood that seems to be getting dangerous, as is noted by the police siren in the background.
Will you be quiet? You guys don't get it, do you? Once we go into Sid's house, we won't be coming out!
No, friends, it's not just a random noise. Someone took the time to put that sound into the audio for a reason. So, a bad area creates bad kids, right? Well, not exactly. The area is more like a symptom of the people who live there. And we don't get a ton of screen time with Sid's family, but we do get a few minutes with Hannah, who seems very cutesy and charming. We see absolutely no desire for Hannah to destroy her toys, and instead, she makes lemonade with lemons and keeps using her headless dolls all the same. Then we have a brief moment where we hear Sid's mother.
What, dear? What was that?
The voice sounds very nice, caring, and pleasant, so I can only assume that Mama is a sweet lady too. So that just leaves Dad, and here's where it starts to come together. We only see Sid's dad briefly, or at least a figure we believe is Sid's dad, and he's passed out in his armchair like a drunkard. If we really pay attention to the mise-en-scène of the room, we do see empty cans laying around, and while they don't appear to be alcoholic, maybe they are. Flavored beers are a thing that actually exists. You can go to the store right now and buy like strawberry lemonade beer, cause ew, but whatever. Or maybe Pixar was too afraid to show beer cans in a kid's movie, so the grape soda cans are a substitute product to send the same message without offending anyone. All I'm saying is that I've never seen anyone pass out like Sid's dad from drinking too many cans of pop. So, for the sake of argument, let's just say that Sid's dad is like an alcoholic. Also, if we take note of the inside of Sid's home, there are some important features to look at. The family has very ugly green shag carpeting, which went out of style way back in the 70s, and most of his house looks equally dated, which tells us something. Now, there's a few options for why the house is 20 plus years out of style. Maybe they inherited it, but I think the most likely possibility is that Sid's parents bought a house very cheaply, which again is a sign of a bad neighborhood and a little bit of proof that Sid's family is poor. But having a house that dated also means the family probably moved in recently, within a year or two, because most people with limited budgets will freshen things up as they go. Some new paint one year, new carpet the next, yet we see no signs of progress. They just plopped into that house and it is what it is. And to me, that's a big sign that the family is stretched financially way too thin. I'm also positive that they aren't renters, because a landlord would be changing out carpets, repainting, and definitely throwing a fit over a semi-vicious dog like Scud. That's not even getting into having a tenant that is blowing stuff up in the backyard. That'd be a heck no, you're evicted. So bottom line is, Sid's family owns the house and they are pretty low income. Now, if we combine drunken dad with being broke, we can start to piece together how Sid was raised. Most drunks tend to be self-medicating for something, and instead of seeking real help, they'll often find something or someone to pin their problems on. My work makes me miserable. I need to drink 15 beers to get over that. I don't like my wife. I need to drink 55 beers to get over that. Something that ridiculous. In this case, I think Sid's dad is resentful of having kids, probably being one of those guys who goes, I could have been so great if not for this wife and kids. And the core of dad's frustration gets it's aimed at Sid, the older child who might not have been planned, which forced Dad to marry Mom, and suddenly Dad couldn't be a rock star or whatever other silly dream he'd never accomplish. I lean towards Dad being in a band that was trying to make it big because of the guitar in the background. That suggests to me that Sid's dad isn't living the life he wants, and in his mind, Sid was the dream killer. Instead of being a big boy and moving on with his life, Dad stayed brooding about it, shut down his family life, and drinks his free time away. I would imagine that anytime he did interact with Sid, Dad was drunk and probably abusive, breaking Sid's toys, then not having money to replace them when he sobered up. And in turn, that would make the dad feel worse and the cycle of drinking spiral more and more out of control. So what do you do if you're a resourceful little kid in that situation? Well, you'd act out and then maybe start putting toys together in weird ways. Really, I think we meet Sid when he's gotten to a bad point, but he was a kid with a lot of creativity and potential. It just got twisted from all the abuse. He's not a bad kid deep down. Sid's just afraid of his father, resentful of his sister who doesn't get her toys torn up by Dad, and he has a mother who puts on blinders and acts like everything's okay so that she can emotionally survive each day. Sid gets no attention and has no boundaries because both of his parents are checked out in different ways. But really, Sid is so creative, and as an engineer, he's brilliantly underrated. He's ripping toys apart because that feels so normal to him to express an unhappiness in his life. And Sid has no other stimulation or outlet, so he just experiments and tinkers with toys. This kid is a scientist doing experiments, and he doesn't even realize how smart he is. Now I know we see Toy Story from the perspective of the toys, so Sid is so scary to us. But even though we know the toys are alive, Sid doesn't. So it's not like he's torturing animals from his perspective. I mean, to the contrary, he seems to have a very good relationship with his dog, even if Scud is a little mean-spirited too. And you know, Scud's roughness didn't come out of nowhere either. I'd bet Dad kicks him when he's drunk, and that's why the poor dog is so on edge and ready to attack anything. Anyways, if the toys had found a different way to stop Sid from hurting them, Sid may have become an engineer or a toy maker when he grew up instead of a garbage collector. But the toy scare was the last straw in breaking down Sid's fragile life. And for how awful Sid was, that's still a pretty sad realization to come to. Did he deserve it? Maybe. But Sid is also a little kid that didn't know he was really hurting the toys, so they could have tried to redeem his character too and give the kid a chance in life. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun.
So I'm out of official Toy Story songs, so this is one I wrote about Sid. Total horrible rip-off parody here, but here goes. Sid, he is an average kid that no one understands. Mom and Dad and Hannah always giving him demands. The gloom and doom is in his room and dangerous, you see, because he doesn't know the toys aren't immune to pain, when in reality they are alive. Really alive. Broken and burnt, sewn together weird. Alive, really alive. I've got nothing else after that. Sid, he is an average kid that no one understands. Mom and Dad and Hannah always giving him demands. The gloom and doom is in his room and dangerous, you see, because he doesn't know the toys aren't immune to pain, when in reality they are alive. Really alive. Broken and burnt, sewn together weird. Alive, really alive. I'm sorry, that was so stupid. That's the best I could come up with on short notice. Oh.
Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, "Hey, I made it to the end," and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.